So, welcome in, my math party people. Today's class, like I said, we're going through arithmetic reasoning review, particularly focusing on solving equations word problems, area perimeter word problems, circles, volume problems, also talking about statistics and more. So, get ready for a fun one. And you guys know that fun and torture are interchangeable in these classes, but we're going to be getting into it today, and it's going to be time practice, and we're going to see what you got. So, three main things as always: effective word problem strategy. For those of you that have been to my classes before, what's the first thing you always do in word problems? Hit it. RTQ, or read the question first. First thing you want to do is understand why you're sitting in your chair looking at a screen to all these words. First thing you want to know is, what's the point? What am I doing? Everybody, after you read the question, what's the second step? First step is, what do I want? Second step is, what do I? That's right, Fiona. What do I have? What's the information? So think about solving an everyday problem. Think about solving an everyday problem. When you want to solve an everyday problem, the first step is, well, what's the problem? What am I trying to fix? Then once you know what you're trying to fix, then you have to ask yourself, well, what resources do I have available to get that done? What's at my disposal to get that done? And then once you identify what pieces you have to help you get the job done, that's the connection that you build. That's step 3. So I like to say it like this. First step, what do you want? Second step, what do you have? Third step, what's the connection? What do I want? What's in front of me? How do I build this bridge? Everybody, yes or no, does that make sense? Great. And so it doesn't sound like I'm sitting here talking like some math prophet that thinks that everything works. Just want to go ahead and just turn the attention over to the people, the students who have been employing this strategy over and over and over again for the past month, 3 months, 5 months. Hit me, my party people. If you've been using that strategy, has that helped or hurt your word problem game? Has it helped or hurt your word problem game? Again, these are the students, not me saying this. I want to make sure that you understand and you can buy into this idea. That way you have something you can lean into whenever you're struggling through a word problem. It works for every single one, because even if you don't get the question right, you at least understand what that complication was for you. Did you misread the question? Did you misunderstand it? Were you not able to understand what the information meant? Did you overlook that you needed a formula? What was it that tripped you up in that specific situation? And that's how we can take every single one of those mistakes and learn a little bit from it. So I know I'm really going through this and taking time, but this is way too important because it really stems into everything you'll do. Number 2, how to practice each type of problem you'll see. So essentially tips and strategies for the specific units that we're covering. And number 3, how to move forward after today with those specific units and the resources you have available to you in the program. So with that, time for practice. What kind of day is it for y'all? Because again, today's slightly harder question. So would you guys like an extra 30 seconds? So typically I'll do 2.5 minutes, but would you guys like 3 minutes per question today? Trust me, it might be necessary. After the first 1 or 2 questions, maybe not. You might not feel that way, but trust me, after the second question, we got some fun to make up for. So, yeah, I would definitely say get ready. So, so let's go ahead. Let me set. The real ASVAB will have you going at about 2 minutes and 26 seconds per question. So since these are slightly harder, let's play it like this. Let's assume on the ASVAB, everybody, is it true in the ASVAB that you can run into an easy question that you can knock out in 30 seconds or a minute? Right? Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Happens every day. Even if you are, the most scared test taker, you've run into a question that you maybe thought was easy. Everyone has. So with that said, here's what we're going to do. What does that leave us with? It leaves us with extra time. For what? For the harder questions. So even though they give you about 2 minutes and 26 seconds per question, by doing the easy questions quickly and effectively, you give yourself more time for the tougher ones. So that's why I'm going to give you an extra 30 seconds per question, because we are diving into the slightly harder side of things. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes or no? Does that make sense? Great. Sounds good. Sounds good. And I don't want to skip over your message there. Hey, Grizel, would you mind copying and pasting that into a text message? I can't read all of that right now, but I do want to make sure I touch base with you, okay? So, and that's fine, Brandon. Of course, the question, if you're taking the CAB version of the ASVAB, you can't go back. But if you know you crushed a question and you only took 30 seconds on it, boom, now you have more time for the next one or later down the road when you do run into a harder one. So, whoops. Let me go ahead and not reveal that question. Let me go ahead and start the timer for y'all. 3 minutes, 5 seconds there. I'll answer your question there. Lujanisha, give me one moment. Let me get the timer up for y'all. And again, remember, guys, do not reveal the answer until time is up. What do you want? What do you have? What's the connection? 3, 2, 1. Let's taste the ASVAB. And Lou Janisha, to answer your question, so when you signed up for the program, you used an email address and you created a password for the website. So all you need to do is go here. All you need to do is go there, go to the website and hit sign in, put in your information, and you should be good. All right, about the halfway point, please don't reveal those answers. I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or wrong. It is the first question of the day, so just type ready when you're ready. Do not reveal your answer. Oh yeah, no worries if you didn't know. Again, one mistake, totally fine. But fool me twice, obviously, coach is not going to be happy. And looking at our final 10 seconds, feel free, plug those answers in. And if you have a guess, well, go ahead and put a question mark next to your answer telling me that it's a guess. Totally fine if you guess. Again, there's really no shame in guessing on the actual test itself because if you get it right, well, no one knows. So go ahead, take your guesses or take your confident answers. Go ahead and put them down if you have them. Let's see what you got. Okay, so it looks like there's a pretty good consensus here that it's B, and it's the opening question of the day. So, hey, if it felt easy for you, no worries. If it felt a little tough, or if you feel like you need a refresher, hey, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. So let's go ahead and get started here, everybody. First and foremost, we want to read the question first, and it's really one sentence. So, some of that is out the door, but you can still identify what you're looking for right here. The question reads, hey, A square with a perimeter of this has a side length of what? So can anybody tell me, are we looking for perimeter or are we looking for side? Which one is it? It's all in the same sentence. Which one of those are we looking for? Right, we're looking for the side length, right? And I know it can definitely seem confusing when you have a ton of math words presented to you, but we want to keep it calm, cool, and collected. So read it in English and then work your way through. Again, a square with this feature. I was saying, a square with this has side length of what? What is the side length? You're looking for the side. And everybody, a side length, what's the shape that we're dealing with? Quick, hit me. Dealing with a square. Everybody, what's the G word of the topic that we're working on? Hit me. What is that G word? That's right, Landa, we're doing geometry. Or a game, if you're talking about life. I mean, either way, I'm not going to argue with that. But I'm going to go ahead and go with geometry here. That's what we have going on because we have a shape. We're looking for its side. And somewhere over here, they tell us the perimeter. So there's a lot of stuff being thrown around, especially some words here that might have a formula attached to them. But first and foremost, what do I want? I want the side of the square. That's what I want. That's the first thing I'm looking for. So that equals blank. Now, up next, this is where we look into the information. What information do we have to work with? What can I work with? And that's where we're going to take a look at right here, the perimeter being 152 inches. Everyone, the moment that you see such a profound word like perimeter and you know the shape that you're talking about, what's the next thing you need to think about, everybody? Starts with an F. What's the next thing you need to regurgitate? Landa got it. India got it. Lewis, the formula. That's right. So let me just make sure I'm asking everybody, make sure I'm including everybody here. Everybody, is it clear? Yes to you, yes or no? Is it clear to you that we are dealing with a word that we know, even if we don't know the formula, we know that there is a formula involved with that? That's the thing, guys. Whenever you see words like area being thrown or surface area or volume, perimeter, anything that has a formula attached to it, or a right triangle with a side, Pythagorean theorem, there's so many different trigger words that you should be aware of to automatically write these formulas down. In this case, perimeter of a square. Give it to me, guys. What's the formula for the perimeter of a square? Thank you, Delilah. Thank you, Landa. Yep, perimeter equals 4 times the side. So let's write that down. Let's not play around with it. Perimeter equals 4 times the side. Now, a lot of people ask, where does that come from? How do I know? How am I supposed to memorize that? Well, when you think about a square, everybody, what's the cool thing about a square? What's the unique thing about a square? Has 4 sides that are, that are equal. 4 sides that are equal. So if you have, this being a side, well, the great thing is, boom, that, and that, all the same. So I hope we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the same sides, and that's where the 4 comes from. That's why that perimeter formula is written the way it is. So knowing what we know, what can we replace P with? What can we replace the P with? 152. We can replace P, the perimeter, with what we're told it is. In the problem right here, we're told perimeter is 152 inches. So we can absolutely replace that in the formula. And now we can actually solve for the side length. Right here, I can zoom on in just a little bit. Don't worry, I'll zoom out in a moment. But now we can go ahead and solve this and be done. Now, if this is the point that makes you a little uncomfortable with the solution process, then what that tells me is you're not yet comfortable with plugging things into an equation or even solving an equation. And trust me, that comes with practice. So don't avoid that. Definitely something you want to hop into the math basics with. That's unit 7 in the math basics. But here, my party people, what's the one thing we want to do to solve this equation? Jesse, that was the first one there. I believe it was you. Yep, working backwards. We see that we're multiplying by 4. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. Because again, the point is get the side by itself. I want to get it by itself. What's in the way? That 4. Got rid of it. And so 152 divided by 4 is my answer. And if you need to go ahead and do some long division, totally fine. We have 4 going into 152. 4 can't go into 1, so 4 into 15, that's going to be 3 times. 3 times 4, that's going to be 12. So we're just setting up our long division here. And again, if at any point any of this is making you nervous, any of these calculations I'm doing, take note of it. If long division makes you uncomfortable, take note of it. It's up to you. It's your responsibility to make sure you're getting better at it. And if you're using my resources, you know it's all lined up for you. But here, 4 goes into 32 8 times, and that is clean. That is done. Boom. There is our answer. The side length that we're looking for is 38. My party people, yes or no, does that make sense to you? How we got the answer, how everything unfolded. Are we feeling good about that? B being our answer. Good. All right, good opening problem. Again, as time goes on, we're going to continue testing your will to live or to get through this class. Either way, whatever you want to do to get through it, let's go. So, next problem coming up. Let's not waste any time. And as a reminder, kind reminder, remember to not reveal your answer until the end. Simply type ready when you're ready. And then when the timer's up, we'll go ahead and put those answers in. So let's get my ugly face out of the way. Get that timer up. And here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Sometimes it comes down to how creative you can be. Sometimes it comes down to remembering a formula that you didn't think was going to be that important. Hey, Angela, thank you so much for those words. It means a lot. But remember that the score that you got was because of your hard work. So I appreciate the thanks. But you had it in you. You got the job done because you wanted it. Everything was just lined up for you, but you put in the work. So I know going from 30 to an 82 is definitely something special. But you had it in you the whole time. And I'm glad that I could prove to you that it wasn't you. It was just potentially, the resources you were using, or maybe things just didn't line up for your learning style. I'm glad I could match your learning style, but yeah, that was all you. 52-point increase. That is amazing. And guys, we still have 25 seconds left. Keep doing your thing, guys. Keep doing your thing. Keep working for it. Let's see what you got. All right, we have 10 seconds left. And remember, this is a 2-hour class. As always, we are 30 minutes in, an hour and a half left. The unit that this is from, while you guys put in your answers, go ahead, this unit and the previous question are from unit number 8. Unit 8, that is going to be area and perimeter. That's going to be area and perimeter, all right? Area and perimeter. So time is up for this one. And I want you guys to go ahead and let me know, was this question easy, medium, or hard for you? And if it was anything other than easy, what was it that kind of tripped you up? Was it just not knowing the formula? Was it not understanding what they were asking for? What was it for you? What was it for you? Okay. Yeah, you got to know those formulas. You got to know those formulas, Fiona. So let's go ahead and try this out here, my party people. First things first, let's read the question. Everyone, what is it that we're looking for? Hit me. What is it that we're looking for? The area. That's right. But more specifically, the area of what? Area of what? Area of a triangle. That is correct. So right there, you are given such a big clue to what you need to do. And I'm going to reiterate what Sean just said a few moments ago. It was easy once I knew the formula. Guys, you have all the power in the world to understand your formulas and to memorize them. But remember that it's not just about memorizing them, it's knowing how to use them. So let's go ahead and dive into this. And as a gentle reminder, for those of you asking, yes, if you are having difficulties in class and you haven't finished the math basics, finish the math basics first. That's definitely self-guided. But once you're done with that, I promise you, everything else opens up like a brand new day. So here we go. Looking for the area of a triangle. Area of a triangle, let me hit you with it right here, is going to be half of the base times the height. So here is one easy way I like to write it. I like to write base times height all over 2. That's the same thing. Some of you guys might have seen the fraction in front, like 1/2 times base times height, but this is just the same way of doing it. And it's a little bit of a cleaner way to see it because you can just multiply the base times the height and then divide by 2 at the end. Some people like seeing it that way, but there you have it. So, my party people, question, do we have everything we need to just plug and chug? Yeah, we do. The base and height of a triangle are 3 feet and 5 feet respectively. They gave you all the information. They give you everything you need. They give you everything you need. So all we need to do is, if we know the formula and we're good to go, 3 feet, 5 feet, base and height, just go ahead, get to work, we're done. So my area is going to be 3 times 5 divided by 2. Help me out, everybody. 3 times 5 is going to be that's going to be 15, and 15 divided by 2, my party people, what's that going to be? 14 divided by 2 is 7. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So if I'm going right in the middle, 15 divided by 2, that is 7.5. Yep, 7.5. And pop quiz question, what unit do you always use to describe area? I'm not talking about the feet part, the yards part or whatever. What is the one word that is exclusive to area when you are showing area? Yes, square. Square feet, square inches, square miles, square meters, square kilometers. All of those, when you use the word square before the unit, you're talking about area. So yes, the answer here will be 7.5. That's why you see square feet. So at this point, again, if we are feeling like, man, so far, struggling a little bit, hey, again, those foundational pieces like the math basics, knowing how to plug things into equations and solve equations, your order of operations, way too important here, right? Way too important. But who here sees so far that the first 2 questions were more reliant on knowing your formulas than being super creative? Cool. So even if you're lost, I want to make sure that we're on the same page, that at least we can see that the first 2 questions that we did definitely heavily relying on formulas. Now, moving forward, we're going to probably get into some questions that require a little more creativity. Let's see how we get those done. And for the person asking about the finishing the math basics first, and then the classes that are going on, don't worry. Every single class is recorded for you. And the great thing is, once you finish the math basics, the arithmetic, reasoning, and math knowledge courses are already there for you. The live classes are a really good way to test where you are. And on top of that, let's say you're already halfway through those arithmetic, reasoning courses, a great way to show what you got in a live class. And even if you already finished the math basics, but not the arithmetic, reasoning, still come to these classes because I'll be able to show you what it is that you should be paying attention to. Yes, and Landa, that is correct. The majority of shapes have their own formula. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive into this next one here. Let me go ahead and get myself out of the way. And again, let's just see how we do, how we perform. Live questions, 3, 2, and 1. Again, one step at a time. What do we want? What do we have? And what's the connection? And Brian, any formula that we need for any problem, I will review for sure. Sean, to answer your question, how long does it usually take to complete the math basics? That depends entirely on you. I've seen some people complete it and as fast as 3 to 4 days. That's very quick, but typically takes students anywhere from 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. It just depends on how much review you actually need in that regard. But if you're doing it the right way, you'll see that there's a lot you can just blow through and only some pieces that you actually have to review. But I promise you, math basics is what you want to complete first because it'll really ease the frustration of word problems down the road. Brandon, it's possible. Absolutely possible to go through the math basics and then get to the arithmetic, reasoning. Because again, the math basics is just reinforcing and solidifying those fundamentals. So it's very likely that you'll be able to get a 90% or better on a lot of those speed drills, maybe like the first 5. But the moment that you see that it's a struggle and you're not getting a 90%, I'm showing you what you must work on to guarantee success later down the road. So make sure that you're going through it the right way. Zoom user, the answer to that is no. Still got 15 seconds left. And 3, 2, and 1. Plug those answers in, my party people. Plug those answers in. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's going on in your heads. So, everybody, would you consider this problem a tickle or torture? What would you consider this problem? Tickle or torture? Tickle, tickle. Okay. In between, got a couple people saying torture, little people saying both. Both. What are you, a masochist? All right, in the middle. Okay. Feeling lost. Both. Okay, sounds good. So let's go ahead and go over this. Now, everybody, here's the thing. When you're kind of stuck or lost or don't exactly know how to do the calculations to get it done, but you know what the problem's about, is it safe to say that sometimes you might want to use the answer choices as a means of getting the correct answer? My brain isn't braining. But okay, so I see a lot of us here are saying yes. And again, my question was, is it safe to say that there are times when you read a question, you read a problem, and although you don't know how to get it all done and prove the answer, you know how to use the answer choices. So let me show you how that would look in this specific scenario, but I'm also going to show you how to do this front to back as opposed to using the choices. So I'm going to show you both ways. So first things first, we have to understand what it is that we're looking for. My party people, in a couple of words, very short, what is it that we're looking for in this particular problem? What are we looking for? And Brian, let's keep the conversation focused on today's class. That kind of spamming is going to get you kicked. So small number. Okay, great. So keep it simple. Keep it right there. Keep it to the point. We want to know what the smaller number is. What is the smaller number? Sounds good. So right there, let's write that down. Everybody, yes or no? Did you understand that from the very get-go? We want the smaller number. We understood that from the very beginning. Yes or no? You know, even if you were confused, even if you freaked out, even if you hate this problem, did you understand that you're looking for the smaller number? I see some people noticing, hey, as tough as a problem might seem, there are steps and strategies to help us get further along in the problem. So I really, really want to make sure that we understand that. As hard as a problem might seem, nothing's stopping you from reading the question and saying, what's the smaller number? Cool. I don't know how to do it, but I know I'm looking for the smaller number. Step 2, what's the information I have? Let's see. Step 2, information. I see that the two numbers add up to 40. Okay, my party people, my brain is now braining. So is it fair to say that what that means, if the two numbers add up to 40, is it safe to say that the small number plus the big number equals 40? Is it safe to say that? Exactly. We're almost to the point where we are going to exclusively point at these answer choices and say, wow, this is the one that works. But you have to understand what the problem is saying first, right? You have to understand what the problem is saying to know how to use the choices themselves. But there it is. Small plus big, yeah, that equals 40. Now, here's the next part. In green, it says one number is 6 more than the other. So right there in green, one number is 6 more than the other. So with that said, is it fair to say, thinking about it logically, that the bigger number is the small number plus 6? Is that fair to say? Is that fair to say? Is that sensible to you? Again, I'm just asking you one question at a time. So is anybody here starting to see how this problem is coming together, or at least how the pieces are laid out now? Is anybody seeing that better? Because again, that first sentence in blue, highlighted in blue, two numbers add up to 40. Okay, small number plus big number, 40. And then the second sentence said, one of the numbers is 6 more than the other. Okay, so that means that the big number is just the small number plus 6. And all we did was write that out in math. We turned the English into math. If that is something you are not particularly good at or a natural at, please write this down in your notes. Translating English into math. That is a skill that is essential to any sort of power score on arithmetic reasoning. You know, if you want to guarantee yourself a good score on the ASVAB for the arithmetic reasoning, translating English to math. That is a skill you must have. You must work on for every topic, every single one. So here's where we're going to use the answer choices. Everyone watch this. Remind me, if I were to look at any one of these numbers, what do each of these numbers in the answer choices, what do they represent again? What do those answers represent? Help me out again. Santiago says the smaller number. Is that true? I see a lot of people agreeing. That is correct. These all represent the smaller number. So these are the possible answers. And again, these are the small numbers. So what am I going to do with that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to test and see, hey, if my small number is 17, let's try this one out. If 17 is the small number, just take a look at the information you have. The small number plus the big number equals 40. And the big number is 6 more than the small number. Everyone, if the small number is 17, what's the big number? What's the big number then? If the small number is 17, what is the bigger number? Just add 6, right? Just add 6. It says it right there. The big number, take the small one, add 6. So if we have 17 as the small number, well, my big number has to be 23. If I just add 6, the big number is going to be 23. Yes or no? Do we all agree with that? How I came to that conclusion? I really want to make sure that this is making sense. Because we know that, again, the big number is 6 more than the small one. We can say that confidently. But that wasn't the only thing that was true about this problem, was it? Yeah, sure. The big number is 6 more than the small number. But what was the first fact that we drew out of this? The big was small plus 6. What was the other true fact that has to be true about this problem? Yeah, they have to add up to 40. My party people, quick question. Do 17 and 23, do they add up to 40? Do they add up to 40? They do. They do. So we followed the rules of the question. The question said the bigger number is the smaller number plus 6. Okay, so in this case, it has to be 23. And then we added the small number and the big number together, and we got 40. Everybody, is A the answer? A is the answer. Now, I'm going to mark it as the correct answer, but now allow me to show you why B, C, and D are actually wrong. Let me show you why those are wrong. So yes, this is going to be the correct answer, but let me show you the next one here. My party people, again, the answer choices over here, those are telling us, again, the possible answers. We already took care of the first one. We found that it made sense. Let's try the other ones. Let's show that they're wrong. So let's try 15 right over here. Let's try 15. If the small number is 15, everybody, what does the green part here say? One number is how much more than the other? What does it say right there? Right, one number is 6 more than the other. So for those of you that were confused about where the 6 came from, do you see now that the 6 comes from right there? The big number is the small number plus 6. Let me know if you see that now, if you were confused on that before. And Selena and Saif, I'm really excited to show you guys that way too. Okay. So in this case, the small number is 15. So what would the big number be in this case? If the small one was 15, the big number, if you add 6, what's that going to be? What's 15 plus 6? 15 plus 6 in this case is 21, right? 15 plus 6, 21. Cool. So what happens, everybody, if we add 15 and 21 together? Again, it's supposed to add up to what? What is it supposed to add up to? What is it supposed to add up to? 40, right? What does it say? It's right here in blue. Two numbers add up to 40. Two numbers add up to 40. Let's see if that's the case here. 15 plus 21. What's that going to be? 36. Is that the correct answer? No, because it doesn't follow the conditions of the problem. The problem says they're supposed to add up to 40. I tested that theory out with the choices, and this one says 36. Everybody, is B the answer? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not the answer. So does anybody here now see that in this particular case, if you understand what the rules of the problem are, you could definitely use the answer choices to your advantage? Are we starting to see that? Bruce, seeing a little better there? Lewis, kind of? Again, it's better than before. So I like that. Sounds good. And so for those of us asking, the name of this unit is Unit 7 for arithmetic reasoning. Unit 7 for arithmetic reasoning. This is systems of equations. This is one of the harder topics on the ASVAB, but definitely a rewarding one if you know how to get it done, because it can show up in a lot of different topics. So we could definitely use the answer choices. We could definitely see what's going on. What's the problem with that? Well, you have the potential of wasting time. Everybody, did we get lucky that the first try that we did was the correct one? Did we get lucky? Yeah, we absolutely got lucky. We can't lie about that. We got lucky that the first answer was the correct one. So we didn't have to go to B. We didn't have to go to C. Didn't have to go to D. But what if the answer was D? Well, then we'd be wasting time doing A, then B, then C. And so we need to know how to do things the right way. Allow me to show you how this would look. Once again, once you're done with the math basics and you've had some time in this particular unit, this is how the setup would look. Allow me to show you by copying this page. That way, right there. We can keep that there. And let me show you exactly what we can do to do things the forward way. Watch this. Everyone, let's say we got two numbers. I'm going to say we have, S for the small number and B for the big number. Is it okay with y'all if I say small plus big equals 40? Is that true, everybody? Yes or no? Is that true? Great. And then the next fact that we know is that the big number equals the small number plus 6. Is that also true? Great. Sounds good. So anybody who's worked on this topic already, can you tell me what the technique is that we're about to use to solve this system of equations? Who knows what technique we're about to use? Starts with an S. Landa, you know what you're doing. Jocelyn, you as well. Substitution. We're going to be using substitution. So here's how substitution works. Everybody, does this B here represent the big number? Okay, yeah, simple question, but I'm glad you answered. Yeah, that B represents the big number. Is it also true that this B right there represents the big number? Okay. So if I'm saying that small plus big equals 40, but I also know that the big number is the same thing as saying S plus 6, small plus 6, is it true that I could replace the big number with the small number plus 6? Is that true? It absolutely is. It absolutely is. This is the second way of doing it. This is the more traditional way that will help you solve problems more complicated than this without breaking a sweat. So here's how this works. And again, if you're not here yet, if you haven't finished the math basics, totally fine if this confuses you a little bit. But what we're going to do now is we are going to substitute S plus 6 for B. That's all we're going to be doing. So right here, let me put an asterisk right there, right there. We are going to replace the B right here with S plus 6. Look at how well this works. I'm going to just take this right over here, and I'm going to copy this over, paste it right here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take this, move it over a little bit, but I'm going to replace that right there. Hey, you're gone. And I'm going to place this in. Everyone, are we cool with that? All we did was we replaced the big number with the small plus 6. They are technically the same thing. We said it. They are technically the same thing. Because we did that, now we're in a fantastic position. Because think about it. We couldn't do anything with this because, well, guess what? That's two variables. You can't solve an equation that has two variables. You can't solve this one either. B equals S plus 6. You have B and S. That's BS. You can't solve an equation that has two variables. So now when you look at this, though, you have S plus 6 equals 40. Now you only have one variable. And now this is solvable. Because everyone, S plus S equals what? Hey, no worries, Christina. I got you. Yeah, so S plus S is going to be 2S. Think about it like this. If you had X plus X, that's 2X. If you had R plus R, 2R. B plus B, 2B. Not B squared, not S squared, no. We're not multiplying, we're adding. If you add this and the same thing together, you have two of that. So S plus S is going to be 2S plus 6 equals 40. All we have to do now is solve this equation. And again, if you haven't finished the math basics, this is going to feel particularly tough. But now all we have to do, again, like I said, is solve, and we're done. First step, what do we do? For those of you who do know what's going on so far, what do we do? Right, we'll subtract 6 from both sides. That's right. Subtract 6. Boom, that's gone. Let me use a different highlighter color. There we go. And now we're going to have 2S equals 34. Now, don't freak out. I know some of us are going to see 34 in the choices and go, whoop-de-doo. Hey, coach, there it is. Well, guess what? I programmed that answer in there because I know some of you guys are going to freak out and choose it. Now, let's go ahead and finish because we're not done. It's not S equals 34. It's 2S equals 34. So what do we need to do as the last step? Brendan, quick on the trigger. I like that. Landa, Kaya, Sean, divide by 2 on both sides. Watch this. Divide by 2. Goodbye right there. And that's going to be S equals 17. Exactly what we found earlier, done in one cohesive shot right there. So, where are you at right now? I want to know. Are you currently at, hey man, look, taking the answer choices and plugging them in, that's my game right now. That's what makes the most sense to me. Or are you more interested in knowing how to write these equations and solve the system? Which way was more interesting to you? Using the guess and check or actually setting it up? Which way made more sense to you? And look at that. So I really love these answers. I love that we have such a diverse group of students here because it only goes to show that no matter where you're at, you're going to see that everybody has a group. All right. Everyone feels a certain way about something. And so you're not alone. But what I want to make sure the idea I really promote here is this: learning how to turn English into math. Because if you know how to do this, you know how to guarantee the right answer every single time. So again, guys, this is systems of equations. Who has finished this in the arithmetic reasoning course? Who is not there yet? Of course, all the people who have finished it are excited to say it, so they were first. And I do expect a lot of people to say not there yet. And that's fine. That's fine. Still new. And of course, Brandon, if you're new, of course, makes total sense. So we are at the halfway point of the class. So for those of you who, again, as an apology for me for being absent last week, I do want to give everybody here a free week to my program if you have not tried it out yet. All you got to do is go to this link here and just save the link for later because there's a video you need to watch to make sure that you get it down. It's very simple, but I want to make sure you know how to do it. But just make sure that you have this link saved so you know the instructions and how to confirm everything and get your trial started. So please go ahead and click this link right here. Save this link for later to the end of class. And again, I'll sit at the end of class and and make sure you guys are all good with that. But I put that into YouTube as well. So boom, here you guys are. So again, just click that and just wait till the end of class to try to do it. That way I can help you out. So are y'all ready for the next one? All right, sounds good. You guys are hungry today. Let's go. All right, let's see what this one is. Ooh, okay, a little spicy one coming up. So let's go ahead and get my face out of the way. Timer's up. And here we go, my party people. Let's get it done. 3, 2, 1. Let's ace the ASVAB. Again, no matter how hard a question might seem, take it slow. What do I want? What do I have? What's the connection? Because even if you don't get it right, there's always progress to be made. Jocelyn, that's correct. And you would have used that in conjunction with S plus B equals 40. You're welcome. I got you. Hey, Derwin. Yep, I just actually scrolled up to see what you did. Yes, that is absolutely right. Hey, no worries if you have no idea. I want to know, again, if you are lost, here's what I'm actually interested in. If you have not seen this, what I'm actually interested in is, hey, do you know what the question is asking you to find? Then, step 2, do you know what the information means? Take it one step at a time. Don't freak out about not knowing about what radius means or whatever. No. Can you tell me what the question is asking you to find? Can you stay calm enough to read one sentence and understand what it means? Because sometimes it comes down to just 2 or 3 words, the key words. Again, the goal here is not to have a correct answer, it's to justify how far you can go. Again, no need to apologize for being confused, guys. Again, your goal is not to be perfect. Like your role here today is not to be perfect. Your role here today is to learn. So, with that, go ahead, put those answers in. Take a guess if you got it. Put a question mark next to those guesses so I can see where we're at with this one. We're getting a real good look at the ASVAB today, guys. We're getting a real good look. Right, that's the thing. Like you could know the formula but still be intimidated by the math. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. All right, so I see a lot of these answers here. Derwin looks to be abysmally lost, and that's okay. My party people, I'm going to ask this question here. Where does this question here rank amongst the previous questions that we've done? Is this on the easier side, the harder side? Is it the easiest? Is it the hardest? How are you feeling about this one? Wow. Okay. That's such a that is that statement right there. It's like, Landa, you're smart. That's why it's easy. Well, How did Landa get to be, quote, by your eyes, smart? Practice, patience, right? That's what it takes. It took work. It takes work. For anything to seem easy, there's experience behind it. If it seems hard, there's probably little experience behind it. Remember, experience and difficulty hand in hand, baby. Hand in hand. More experience, less difficulty. Less experience, more difficulty. Everybody, yes or no, does that make sense? Because I want to end the whole notion that some people are born for it and some people aren't. That is hardly the case. It is hardly the case, man. You don't have to be smart or have perfect genes to be a hard worker. Anyone can work hard and learn so long as they apply themselves to the subject matter. So let's go ahead and get this done. My party people, even if you have no idea how to do the math of this problem, you should absolutely know what the question is asking you to find. Can you give me what this question is asking us to find in a couple of words in English, not math, in English? What is it that we're trying to find? Shaletta, that's correct. The revolution is around the wheel. But the question is, again, what is it that we're looking for here in English? In English. We're looking for distance. I wouldn't say distance around the wheel. In a way, yes. In a way, that is correct. But if we're talking about pure English, everyone, is it safe to say that if you notice here, wheel of a car, how far will the wheel go or travel after 90 revolutions? So is it safe to say that we have this perfectly designed wheel here by me? And is it safe to say that pretty much what we're doing is we're seeing how far this wheel goes after 90, what is that? 90, what is that word there? Revolutions. Everyone, is it fair to say that we're looking for distance after 90 of those supposed revolutions? I don't know what revolutions means yet. We'll talk about that. But is it safe to say that we're looking for a distance that the wheel travels? Okay, cool. Again, this is the first step we need to take, guys. First step we need to take is, what's the question? And it says, how far? How far? That's distance. How far will the wheel travel? So if this is my wheel right here, then we're trying to figure out how far that wheel goes after 90 of those revolutions. But it's clear we're trying to see how far the wheel goes. So with that said, let's talk about that word right over here. The word of the day presented by PBS Studios is revolutions. Who here knows what revolutions means? For one bonus brownie point. Right, one full complete turn. That's what a revolution means. That's what a revolution is. If we're talking about, hey, what's a full revolution in this chair that I'm sitting in? This is what it looks like. Probably going to break some furniture, but boom. One revolution, one turn. If we're talking about the revolution, going one revolution around this wheel here, let me use a different color. That's going to be going one time around. One time around. So allow me to go ahead and grab this and, well, not that part down here. But we're saying, hey, if we take this wheel and we turn this wheel 90 times, going over and over and over again, we're basically asking, how far is the wheel if we turn it 90 times? Is that making a little more sense, guys? Again, one revolution is one turn, one complete rotation here. So what we're asking for is, I'm sorry it's getting bigger and smaller, keep it the same size, but what I'm asking you is, do you understand that one revolution is one complete turn of the circle? So what we're looking for is 90 complete turns of the circle or of the wheel. Is that making a little more sense before we continue? Cool, because you don't need to understand circumference and all that to understand what a wheel turning feels like, right? Now, this is where we're going to start applying the math behind it. And this is going to be for circles. So allow me to write this here. This is going to be Unit 9 in arithmetic reasoning, specifically Unit 9 is right there. Cool. Unit 9 is specifically for circles. So we're talking about circumference, area, and these types of problems that you see. So first things first, everybody, how are we going to get to 90 revolutions? Well, take it step by step. And this is how you should be thinking in most questions. Everyone, is it true that if we want to find 90 of these revolutions, 90 of them, is it true that we could just find one revolution and then multiply it by 90? Is that true? Okay. And I see that everybody's saying yes, but even if there's somebody out there that's a little shy, not totally understanding, if I wanted to find, let's go ahead and say the price of 90 Kit Kat bars, I could find the price of one Kit Kat bar, multiply it by 90. Is that true? Theoretically speaking? Yeah. Okay, so if we're talking about, let's say, running laps on the track, you're doing some PT, trying to run laps on the track. You want to see how far 90 laps is. Everyone, is it true that if we found the distance for one lap, multiply by 90 to get 90? Is that true? And that's where we want to be. Bingo. Now, that's it. We find the distance for one revolution of the wheel. We multiply by 90. And so the only question that's left is, how the heck do we find one revolution? That should be the biggest question of the day. Here's how we do it. One revolution. Let's go and zoom on in just slightly. Actually, let me go ahead and take this, put this up here. So what we are trying to do is, again, find one revolution and then times 90. Then we will times 90. That is the game plan. That is the game plan. Who here, because we are given the radius, who here knows what the circumference of a circle is? Again, circumference is the same thing as one revolution, because a circumference is how far it is on the outside. One revolution is as far as it goes on the outside. So we are looking for circumference. Who knows the formula for it? Yeah, Landa, the definition is the distance around the circle, but what is the formula for the circumference of a circle? Who knows? Boom. 2 times pi times radius, or 2 pi r to be short. But yes, write this down if you didn't have it, everybody. We have the circumference. So write this down here. Again, one revolution is the same thing as one circumference, one time around. And the circumference, C, here's the formula. It is 2 times pi times the radius. There are two formulas. One uses the diameter, but since we don't see diameter in this problem, forget about it. You don't need it. You don't need it. We have 2 times pi times the radius. Write that down. And we know that the radius that we were told is 11 inches. We were told 11 is right here. But everybody, what are we going to replace the pi right there with? What are we going to replace the pi with? 3.14. Confused on where that came from? Right here. Right there. It says Hughes pi equals 3.14. So when we plug this in, this is what we have. Let me zoom on in. Don't worry, at the end, I'll zoom on out so you can take a picture. But what we have now is the circumference equals 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times 11, which was the radius. Before I continue, do you notice that once we know the formula, all we have to do is plug the right things into the right places? Is that making sense? Nice. So let's go ahead and proceed. Let's go ahead, now that we've plugged it in, hopefully, even if the formula was a little intimidating to you, well, I took care of that for us. And let's see if we can carry on now that we've gotten over that hump. Here we go. My party people, we can go ahead and do 2 times 3.14 first. We can do that for sure, no problem. What's 2 times 3.14, my party people? Man, some math is tough, for sure. But hey, what else are you going to do with your free time? TikTok? Come on now. So here we go. 2 times 3.14. That's going to be 6.28. Sounds good. And then that's going to be times 11. Okay, so now we have to do 6.28 times 11. Oh, that looks like some tough math. But again, we just need to make sure that we take it one step at a time. Again, if this intimidates you, well, dealing with decimals is something you need to work on. If you're not done with the math basics, I'm pretty sure that I know what your problem is. Here we go. Everyone remind me, when we're multiplying decimals, what do we do with the decimals at first? What do we do with the decimals at first? Yeah, we just ignore them. Let's just ignore the decimals. At the end, we'll bring them all back. But for right now, don't worry about it. Pretend they're not there. Multiply as normal. So we'll start off here. 8 times 1, that's going to give us 8. 2 times 1, that's going to give us 2. 6 times 1, that's going to give us 6. Is it that easy? Yes, when you're multiplying by 1, things are easy. Next up, we'll go ahead and go to the next line right here, the next digit. So now we have, again, 8 times 1. Look at that. 2 times 1. Look at that. 6 times 1. Look at that. Not too crazy. Add it back together. We have 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. 6 plus 2 is 8. Plus the extra 1 is 9. And then we have the 6 still there. Boom. Now with that, Andrew, the reason we put the 0 there is because we're going to the next place value. So this line here was dedicated to this one here. This line here is dedicated to this one. This one is in the tens place. So we put a 0 so we can start in the tens place. That's why that is. And for those of you asking about how to study for the math basics, remember that with the math basics, you have your personalized progress dashboard. What that means is every single assignment you've completed has a check mark. Everything you haven't done has an X. Follow that dashboard, that progress dashboard. You're good to go. Super easy. Now, last thing we do, thank you, Tariq, is you bring those decimals back. We noticed that we had 1, 2 decimals being used. So we will bring 1, 2 decimals back. And that will be 69.08. Was that crazy, my party people, or was that doable? Was that crazy or was that doable? Right? Seems pretty straightforward, right? Seems pretty straightforward. So if we have someone that's very excited, someone who is proud of themselves, we did the calculations correctly. We have 69.08. My party people, are we done? Because I see the answer. It's C. Are we done? Are we done? We should be happy, right? We're done, right? We're done. We're done. No, we're not. What did we forget? We forgot one thing. Times 90. We forgot that we're not doing just one revolution. We're doing 90. Big key. Big key. So with that said, we now need to finish the problem off by saying, hey, we need to do this times 90 revolutions. Yes or no, does that make sense? Before I actually do the math, does that make sense? We only had one revolution. We actually got to do 90. And so, again, this could be a crazy problem if you didn't know the formula, if you missed the part about the 90. This is what makes these questions differentiating between people who are failing and people who are passing and people who are getting really high scores. But we identified the work we have to do. Don't be afraid. Let's get it done. So 69.08 times 90. I'll do that right over here. And again, I'll give you an opportunity to take a screenshot in a few moments. Multiply by 90. Again, this is not going to be crazy at all because we have 8 times 0, 0, 0. All of this is going to be 0. So don't even worry about it. Now we're going to go to the next line, to the 9. I'll put the 0 because we're dealing in the tens place now. And here we go. 8 times 9, that's 72. 0 times 9 is 0. Carry the 7 is 7. 9 times 9 is 81. Carry the 8. 6 times 9 is 54. Carry the 8 is 62. And so there we are. We add this back and we get the same thing because all we had was zeros above. What do we do at the end, everybody? What do we do at the end? Same thing as always. What do we do with those decimals? Right, we bring them back. We bring them back nice and easy. We go 1, 2, 1, 2. So now we have 6,217.2 inches. That is 90 revolutions. Again, this was 1 revolution. This was 90. And so there we have it. Let me move my ugly face out of the way so you can take your screenshot. But yes or no, let me know if you understand why C is not the answer, but it's actually B as the answer. Do we understand what happened there? Bruce, I got you. And again, this may or may not happen to you. My goal is every single problem is an eye-opener. Any problem that's confusing is an eye-opener. That's my goal. But obviously, that's a perfect world scenario, and I'd be delusional to think that that's happening for everybody. So I want to reach out directly to the students who are looking at this saying, man, this is a little confusing. I want you to really press yourself and ask yourself these questions. Did I understand what the question meant? Did I understand what finding the distance meant? Did I understand that it was saying, find going around a circle 90 times? Did I understand that? If so, did I know what the formula for the circumference of a circle was? Did I know that? If I didn't, again, write that down. Give yourself the opportunity to benefit from your own mistakes. Because when you're here, you can make these mistakes. When you're on the ASVAB, you get punished for the mistakes. So make the mistakes in a place where you're not punished for it, so you have a less likelihood of making it when you do. Alexander, hey, keep reaching out to me, bud. Keep reaching out to me. Keep texting me. Yeah, so India, they're asking for more than 1 revolution. So if they just said, hey, how far does the wheel go after 1 revolution? That's just the circumference, 1 circumference. If they say, hey, the wheel turned 200 times, that's the circumference, 200 times. And so you would do that in that sense. So for those of you that were confused, do you understand where I'm coming from? Even if you didn't get part of this, do you see how you can take yourself from the beginning to the part that you were confused at? That's really what I want to get. Because even if you're struggling, you can still make progress. Good. Yeah, Angelise, go ahead. Right on, Brandon. Okay, so Angelise, go ahead and ask your question, and I'm going to get us into the next one here. This next one is still kind of geometry. Oh, Angelise, no worries. Go ahead and text me for a personal question. No worries. Go ahead and shoot me a text directly. I'll mark it on the screen. But with that, let's go ahead and dive into this next one here. I think this next one's going to be very interesting, but potentially very frustrating, but very straightforward all at once. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get the timer back up. And again, Angelise, I'll put my phone number at the top of the screen for you. That way you can shoot me a text directly. 3, 2, and 1. Let's get it. looking at our final 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead. Plug those answers in. If you're taking a guess, take a guess. Totally fine to take a guess. If it's an honest guess, go ahead. Go ahead. So let's go ahead and try that out. Now, how do you guys feel about this one? Do you feel like this one was on the easier side, harder side? Because clearly here we have a lot less words than we did here in some of these other problems, or it's still just as short. Is it any easier, any harder? What are we doing? Hard, lost in the sauce, hard, hard. Hard, lost, hard, mid, lost, lost, indifferent, lost. All right, so let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Now, seems simple, yet still lost. Okay, cool. So does anybody know what unit this is from? What unit is this from? What unit? Who knows? Landa, Pythagorean theorem. That is correct. That is going to be Arithmetic Reasoning, Unit 11. Arithmetic Reasoning, Unit 11. So, if you didn't see that this was Pythagorean theorem, for those of you who need a quick refresher, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'll go ahead and show that to you on screen. But that's what we're doing in this problem. And let me prove it to you and show you. So once more time, if you need my help directly, go ahead and text that number. That is my direct line. Just go ahead and save that if you need to. I'm going to erase that in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so let me show you what's going on here. What we're looking for is, what is the straight line distance between Kevin and Nancy? Everyone, before I even begin, from that one sentence alone, and I'm going to highlight it again, what is the straight line distance between Kevin and Nancy? Is it fair to say that if Kevin's here and Nancy's here, we're just looking for the straight line distance between them? Is that fair? Cool. And again, if you're still in the math basics and you're still in this class, hey man, more power to you. Remember, it's going to be a learning curve until you finish the math basics. So you're good. Keep pushing forward. If you feel like you're better served just continuing with your time in the math basics until you get to this, sure, man, go ahead. I recommend that. That's what the plan is. But here we go. If we have Kevin and Nancy, we're just saying, hey, man, if we have Kevin and we have Nancy, I just want to know how far apart they are from Kevin to Nancy. That's all I want to know. Let's figure this out. So let's see what it says. It says Kevin is 24 feet south and 7 feet west of Nancy. So let's go ahead and do our thing here. And what I mean by that is remembering our bearings. What's north, what's south, what's east, what's west. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this. Okay, so my party people, you can go ahead and just write this down. Never eat soggy something. Oh, whoops. Never eat soggy waffles. I'm trying to think about it in the best way that you guys can take it. I think my girlfriend said that. Never eat soggy waffles is what she uses to write her compass down. I just know north, south, east, west. I already know it. But if that helps you out, never eat soggy waffles. I mean, sure. More power to you. So there you have it. And I want to help us understand and make sense of the terminology used here, of the words used here. So let's say we have Nancy right over here at the top. Let's say we have Nancy. And it says this. So Kevin is 24 feet south and 7 feet west from Nancy. So if we're starting at Nancy, here's what's happening, everybody. We got 24 feet south, right? And then we have 7 feet west. And then that means this is where Kevin is. Everyone, is that fair? Is that fair? Nancy starts here. If you go 24 feet south and 7 feet west, you get to Kevin. Is that fair? Perfect. And so with that said, we are looking for, again, the straight line distance. We're not looking to add the 24 and the 7. No, we are not looking for that. We are looking for not from here to here to there. No, it's here to here. The direct straight line distance. This is what we care about. That right there. And then Santiago asks, is this a triangle? Everybody, it's not just a triangle. What kind of triangle is this? What kind of triangle is this? Because if we go directly south and then west, or west for you guys, since you're looking at me this way, if we go directly south, then west, that's a right angle. And that makes this a right triangle. That makes this a right triangle. So again, even if you're not quite here yet at this specific part of the program, don't worry, because I'm going to show you the one piece of information that will take you from where you are to what you want to be successful in this problem. And that's going to be this. Let me go ahead. Are you guys cool if I make this a little smaller? The compass? Cool. Get you over there, little buddy. Cool. And so here's the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Who recognizes that? Who recognizes that? Yeah, absolutely. Should definitely recognize that. And so all we got to do now is just plug in those numbers and we're good. We just know, are the 24 and the 7, are they A and B, A and C, B and C? Which numbers are those? The 24 and the 7, what do we consider those from the formula? Yeah, A and B. A and B. The C is, or for you guys, the C is going to be the straight line distance on the triangle. So basically the longest side, the straight line distance, boom, right here. This is C. That is C. Yeah, Jocelyn, that is the hypotenuse. Yep, that is absolutely the hypotenuse. You can definitely write it that way too. You can definitely write that down too. Absolutely. Yes, the side opposite of the right angle, that is always the hypotenuse. The side that represents the right angle, that is the hypotenuse. Always. Always, always, always. So here we go. All we have to do is plug things in. We got 7 squared plus 24 squared is going to equal c squared. Is anybody here intimidated by the math that we're about to do? No? Yes? Had flashback 20 years to school? Having flashbacks of Vietnam right here. Like, oh my God. All right, here we go. 7 squared. Everybody hit me. What's 7 squared? 49, right? What does squared mean again as a reminder? Squared means take that number, multiply it by itself. 7 squared, that's 7 times 7. That's how we get 49. Then 24 squared. That means 24 by 24. Everybody here should know that at the top of their head. I expect you to know that when you're born. Come on. I'm kidding. Let's go ahead and do that on the side. Let's make sure we don't mess up. So here we'll go ahead and do 24 times 24. So here we go. 4 times 4, that's going to be 16. 2 times 4, that'll be 8. Carry the 1, that's 9. Bring down the 0 for the tens place here. Then we'll go ahead and do 4 times 2, that's 8. 2 times 2, that's 4. Add these together. 6 plus 0. 9 plus 8, that'll be 17. And then that'll be 5. So we have 576. So a little bit of math, but still good. Still good. So we have 576 equals c squared. All right, what's 49 plus 576, everybody? Again, there's just a ton of calculation to do, but the formula is straight up. The formula is absolutely straight up. 576 plus 49. 9 plus 6 is going to be 15. 7 plus 4, that'll be 11. Carry the 1 is 12. And then we have a 6 right there, 625. 625 equals c squared. So here's the neat part of this problem. The neat part is this. 625 is not the answer. The answer is what times itself will give you 625. Does that make sense to you, yes or no? Again, 625 equals c squared. What that means is some number times itself is going to give you 625. Does that make sense? And again, we got the 49 because 7 squared, 7 times 7. Okay, so for those of you asking, man, coach, how are we in God's name supposed to figure out what C is? How am I supposed to take the square root of 625? You don't. Because you know that you're multiplying the same number times itself, you just have to ask yourself, the first digit, what number times itself ends in a 5? Let me go over here. My party people, let's just take a look at these. Everybody, 4, 24. 4 times 4, what does that end in? What does 4 times 4 end in? Yeah, 4 times 4 is 16, so it ends in a 6. Is this our answer? Is this our answer? No. This is how you use your knowledge of numbers. Instead of guessing, going 24 times 24 to see if that might be there, no, not even necessary. Can't be it because 4 times 4 ends in 6. 16, nope, not going to be it. 23, 3 times 3, what does that end in? Ends in 9. Everybody, it's supposed to be 625. Is 23 the answer? Not going to be the answer. Let's try 25. 5 times 5 ends in what? Ends in 5 because of 25. This might be the answer. This might work. I'll just highlight it because if I have another answer that's the same thing that ends in a 5, I'm screwed because I got to do the math then. But 22, 2 times 2, what does that end in? 4. Is that our answer? No. So without actually doing the guess and check math, without actually putting ourselves through an extra bit of hell, we can actually tell what the correct answer is by just eyeballing it, knowing how math works. The last number is going to be 4 times 4, 3 times 3, 5 times 5, 2 times 2. It's going to be the ending digit times itself. And we found, boom, 25 is it. Yes or no, everybody? Does that make sense? Absolutely, Landa. That's what I was going to touch on next. So here's another thing that I was going to touch on, my party people. What is a fact about the hypotenuse, the C in a right triangle? What is a fact that is always true about the hypotenuse? Santiago, it's always the longer side. If you knew that, you didn't have to do any of this at all. Let me tell you why. We have 24 and we have 7. If this is guaranteed to be the longest side, it's guaranteed to be bigger than 24. Is that correct? Again, because the hypotenuse is always the longest side, it's guaranteed to be longer than 24. Is that true? Is that true? Is it guaranteed to be longer? Absolutely. Absolutely guaranteed. And because of that, what's the only answer bigger than 24 here? C, 25, done. I'm telling you, you guys wouldn't expect it, but it happens way more often than you think. I've taken some of these podcasts. I haven't taken the official test because I don't want to get sued, but I've taken the podcast plenty of times to understand that a lot of these answer choices are framed in a way that will let you see a faster way to do the problem if you see what's going on. Like literally, it happens so often. This is a 10-second question if you realize that and you know that you can use that information quickly. Absolutely, Kenny. Definitely a 10-second question. Absolutely, Brian. If you're dealing with a right triangle and you're trying to find the hypotenuse, you know that the hypotenuse is always the longer side. So you can do a quick check to see what your two sides are, because anything bigger than it is potentially the answer. Potentially. And Piyush, no, didn't need to. So I'm a career educator. So for those of you who don't know my past, I'm a career educator. I've taught Florida Virtual School online. I've built my own calculus website. I've taught teachers. I've taught PhD candidates, teaching ASVAB or ASVAB test takers like yourselves. I've been educating for quite some time now. So didn't have to take the test to know how to prepare you for it, essentially. So with that, it is 7:48 here. So because of that, let me just see what the next question is. Okay, no. So I would definitely make some people here bang their heads on the desk because of that. So what I want to do is, for those of you, two things. One, for those of you in the program and who are coming into class tomorrow, I want you to go ahead and throw some topics out there that you want me to put into tomorrow's class. Then number two, for those of you that are not in the program, I want you to stay at the end here because, again, I want to give everybody in here who wants to try the program out, who hasn't had a chance to, I'm going to give you a chance to sign up for free for a week, no credit card required. Again, as a thank you from me to you for being patient with me in my absence. So I want to go ahead and see here a Delilah cylinder. So if you'd like to, Delilah, go ahead and knock yourself out with that one. So let me see here. Compound interest. Ooh, that's a cute one. Let me go ahead and write that down. I can definitely do that for you, Landa. I got you in tomorrow's class with that. So compound interest. Sean, we knew that we would have to use the Pythagorean theorem because when you say south and west, that creates a right triangle because it creates a right angle. And so it takes practice to be able to see that visually as you read it. But with more practice, I'm sure you'll get it. You've been paying attention this whole time. I'm sure you'll get it. No, India, not when you're looking for distance, particularly in this circumstance right up here, particularly seeing that when we went south and when we went west, we created that right angle to connect the points. That's when you know. That's when you know. But yeah, compound interest, I got y'all. Fractions, you guys want to do that too? Okay. Compound interest, fractions. What else we got? What else we got? Unit conversions. Okay. Percents, ratios, rate and time. Tomorrow is, I believe, arithmetic reasoning. Tomorrow is arithmetic reasoning. We will have more math knowledge classes next week for August's schedule. Unit conversions. Those are systems of equations word problems, Brendan. Those are systems. I can throw one of those in there for tomorrow's class. Probability. Nice one there. Cool. I'll throw one in there. Cool. That looks good to me, guys. Distance, rate, time, DRT. So we'll have a pretty diverse class tomorrow. Yeah, that's already 7-8 units. I got y'all. So with that said, I saw the mixtures in there, Landa. I'm not going to throw that in there for this one, but I do promise to make more of those videos coming in July. Okay. So with that said, my party people, how would you guys rank today's class? How do you feel about the problems that we did? We were heavy on geometry for sure, but how do you feel about where you started, going through and working through the confusion, and where you ended up after pushing through? How do you feel? And again, yeah, it's definitely okay to feel lost because think about it like this. If you weren't lost, would you have come to class to begin with? So we're going to have moments that they're going to be frustrating. Absolutely, because there's always going to be a learning curve. But as you practice and put in more time and patience into this project, which is you're going to see how much better you get over time. Remember, we can't expect immediate results for something as robust and as complex as this. We have to give ourselves the time to learn through the fundamentals, then to hone those skills in these arithmetic reasoning and math knowledge courses. And then on top of that, taking practice tests to verify where you are. So my party people, I love y'all. With that said, let me go ahead and put ourselves here at the last screen. Again, for those of you who are in the program, you are good to go. If you'd like to leave a word about the program so people understand that this program is legit and they can sign up and they know what they're getting into, go ahead. But remember that for your program members, class is the same time tomorrow, 6 p.m. for 2 hours. And again, we're doing arithmetic reasoning review. So I took a note of all of the units that you guys wanted. We have compound interest. I'm definitely going to be doing that one. Fractions, unit conversions, percents, ratios, systems, probability, and distance, rate, time. I got y'all. So I'll see you guys tomorrow if you are in the program. If you're not, again, you get it for a full week for free on me. So here's how you can do that. First things first, I want to make sure that we understand how the program works. So yes, you get access to all the classes and all the recordings. But remember, that's literally like 5% of the program. The bulk of the program is accessible to you 24/7 on your account online, automatically created for you. So you're going to have everything lined up for you from start to finish. The math basics, arithmetic reasoning, math knowledge, and practice tests. You also have access to my English resources, my word knowledge and paragraph comprehension study guides, courses, and practice tests. On top of that, you have a little nice 200 practice test course with general science. So everything is literally there with progress reports coming out periodically. And on top of that, whenever you have questions, you can text me. But everything is up on your account right there, ready to go at all times. So super straightforward, guys, super straightforward. So again, there is no cost today. It's free, no credit card required. Again, as a thank you for you guys being so patient with me in my absence. So here is how to do it. Go ahead and go here. Here's the link in Zoom. I'm going to pause the chat box for a moment so you guys can all see it. I'm also going to put the link here on YouTube right there. So feel free, my party people, go ahead, take advantage of this, click the link. What you'll see is there's a video at the top explaining how the process goes. You literally fill out a quick form, you plug in your email, you plug in your phone number, make sure you double check the spelling, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a confirmation code to your email and a separate confirmation code to your phone. And you need both of those codes to activate your trial. That's how I can make sure that no one is taking advantage of what they have already taken advantage of. So you need to confirm your phone number and confirm your email address. Once you have those codes, you click the link, plug in those codes, and you're activated. You'll have a confirmation email, a confirmation text, and all you got to do is read that welcome email and you're set. Everything is there for you. So I'm going to unlock the chat box here on Zoom, and I'm going to pay attention to any and all questions that you guys have about the program, because I'm more than happy to make sure it's all good. Tevin, I got you. Let me go ahead and double check your account for you, boss. I got you. Okay, so Tevin, I don't see that you're in the program. Oh, gotcha. Different person. Different Zoom name. Cool. So I see here, Evelyn, you're in. You're good. Everything seems set up. I believe I see what the problem is, though. Oh, I got you, Evelyn. Let me see. Let me download your invoice really quick, because I believe I know exactly what happened. Yep, you're good. So Evelyn, go ahead. In 5 seconds, refresh. Boom. Go ahead, Evelyn, refresh your start screen. Everything's there now. You're done. You're good. Yeah, so if you're in the program, I got you, Evelyn. And Evelyn, whenever you have issues, text me every single day that you have an issue. Because I was gone for a little bit of time, I have about 400 messages to get back to, so it's going to take me a little bit. But if you just text me again, what I'm always doing is I start from the most recent people. I text, and then I go catch up with whoever is sitting there. And then I keep going back further and further, but then I'll come back to check who's there. So if it's taking me longer than you expected, just text me again. Just remind me, hey, coach, just wanted to put myself at the top of the list. And you will be. Yeah, India, I got you for sure. And everybody check Landa's message there. And Evelyn, yes, you absolutely will. Evelyn, what you want to do actually is when you log into the website, if you scroll down past the math basics, you'll see the link to the next class always there when you log in. Because when you're in the program, you don't actually have to wait for me to text you and email you. You already have access to it all the time. So India, let me see. So India, what was your issue? I got you. No problem at all. Let me see. India Evans. So India, I don't see that you started the free trial or anything. What issue were you having? Let me know. Let me know. So the free trial, go ahead and sign up for it tonight. I'll go ahead and keep it open until tomorrow midday. But this is my personal gift to y'all tonight. So if you would please, if you're interested in it, just go ahead and sign up tonight. You have a full 168 hours, a full week. So you'll be able to join tomorrow's class, Wednesday's class, and you'll have access to all the courses, the progress dashboards, literally every resource I offer for a full week for free. Yep, and I'll go ahead and put the link again in the chat box. I got y'all. For sure. Here's the link again. There's the program trial. Again, just make sure to watch that video at the top. It makes it super easy to follow along with. All you have to do is, again, fill out your information accurately. Please, please, please make sure that you spell everything correctly. Just triple check that. That way it's as easy as possible. Yeah, India, you should be good to go. All you need to do is go ahead and follow those directions, and yeah, you can definitely get started. You're not sure if I'm in. I did everything and I submitted my codes. Let me double check. So India, unless you use a different email, but I do have here that you have an account on the website. So let me just triple check that. You are here. Yeah, India, I see here, this was from earlier before the class started, about 5:45. Yep, you have confirmed that you received, that you submitted it. And if you received an email and a text with the code, both of those are good to go. Your phone number and email are set. So just need to make sure that you check your email. There's a link to confirm. So once you have both, click the link, plug in the code for your email, plug in the code for your phone. Make sure to use all capital letters, all the exact same way I gave it to you. Copy and paste it. And then once you submit, give it about 30 seconds and you should receive a welcome email. Ashley, I can double check yours to see if you have any issues for sure. Go ahead and let me know what your email is. Private message me here in Zoom. I got you there. Yeah, India, you didn't get the welcome email because it looks like you did not plug in the correct codes. So I can copy and paste your codes for you here, just so you can get that. But here is your email confirmation code. Just messaging that to you. And here is your phone confirmation code, India. There you go. I'll just private message it to you just in case. Just double check that you have the right ones. Perfect, Evelyn, you're all set. Excelente. Ashley, I'll double check yours right now. So Ashley, yeah, you have an account on my website. All you have to do is go ahead and fill out that form that I put up there. I see that you also did do that. You did do that just a few minutes ago. You should have received a text and an email at the numbers you provide. So double check that for me, Ashley. Make sure you got them. And you're good. Brandon, you should have been good. Yeah, Brandon, I know you started off earlier today. Let me just double check. Yeah, Brandon, you've been good. I see that your trial, did you just fill this out? Yeah, BD Jones. Yep, you just did that, so you're good. Yep. Yeah, everything's activating. I see that your account is populating right now. Yep, boom. Your account is done populating. I see that your trial has begun. You should have received a welcome email and a welcome text. Please, 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 for the love of bacon and everything you hold dear, make sure to go through that welcome email. It's very, very easy to follow along as long as you just follow my communications. So finish that program checklist. That's really the main thing you want to do so you can get started right away on the math basics, get started right away on everything else. Yeah, Bruce, the last one was about cylinders. So you would need the formula for the volume of a cylinder. And if you want to write that down, it's pi r squared times the height. And Ashley, you see the email, but not the text. Ashley, would you like to private message me again, the phone number that you put in? I can just double check that you put that in correctly. Right, exactly, Bruce. What you could tell from that point was that, yeah, because it ends in a 5 and you know it's the same numbers multiplied together, only way you can get that is if they both end in 5. It's the only way. Yeah. So Ashley, let me double check that. Perfect, India. There you go. You're good. Excellent. And again, India, make sure you read that welcome email and welcome text message because again, it makes it so easy to start. You know, so many people will like ignore a welcome email because they think it's like, okay, I'm in. I'm telling you, like, if you want an easy time, just follow my communications. When I send you a text, read it. When I send you an email, read it. It's there for a reason. It's there to make your experience the best it can possibly be. So Ashley, I'm going to double check for you here. Ashley, I do have you here. Oh, Ashley, you misspelled your phone number. That's what it was. You put a 4 instead of a 1. So Ashley, go ahead and resubmit the form. Do it all over again. No worries. Just do the form all over again. It happens all the time. That's always what happens. Whenever anybody has an issue, I can tell you 99% of the time it's because just of a typo. It's okay. So just go ahead and start from the beginning again. Just make sure you double check your information. I'm going to send you a text and an email with the confirmation codes. Plug them in and you're good. Yeah, sounds great. Thank you. And Selena, what is that for? You said 4 pi r times 2 or 4 pi r squared? For the volume of a cylinder, it's going to be pi r squared times height. Pi r squared times height. So it'll look something like this. It'll look just like that. Again, guys, I appreciate y'all doing your thing here. Man, I see a lot of y'all have started that is a lot of people. Looks like there are a lot of people here having a good time. Wow. Okay, cool. So yeah, just make sure that, again, you follow that welcome process. Read that welcome email, read that welcome text. In the welcome email, it'll take you to the checklist page. The checklist page has a video walking you through step by step, and it tells you exactly where to go to learn and find anything you need. Selena, as much as my ego loves hearing that, I am not the best teacher until you pass. Okay? So Angelica can call me the best teacher. Sure, because she passed. Joel, you can call me the best teacher because he passed. So until you pass, you're good. So Ashley, go ahead and check your email and your text because if you put it in correctly, I see that it was submitted just a few moments ago. And so you should be receiving those codes. Perfect. You're good. Brian, it's not a matter of how long you should take. It's make sure you get it done first. Too often when people think that it's taking a long time, they want to skip ahead. That is literally like digging your own grave. There's no reason to skip ahead and do something and skip steps. Think about building a car or building a building, whatever it is you want to build. Anytime you have instructions on how to build something and you skip steps, you always have to go back. You always have to go back. So instead of skipping ahead and coming back out of frustration, maintain patience and guarantee that confidence goes up. I promise you, once the math basics is done, you're set. And also, I created a math basics guide. So for those of you who are currently in the trial or in the program, this is a quick guide that I made for the math basics in terms of, hey, how do I know if I'm just good to move forward? Because you don't have to watch all the lessons, everybody. You don't have to watch all the lessons. If you think that you're good to do the speed drill, to do the confirmation, go for it. Go for it. Skip ahead, do it. And if it kicks your butt and you got to go ahead and refresh, then refresh. But that's an easy way to do the things you know how to do quickly and focus on what you need to review. So here you go. Let me go ahead and here is your quick guide for the math basics. This is a great article that I made. It's a quick blog post that I made, and it shows you, again, how to speed past what you know how to do. Makes life easy. And yeah, Bobby, that's right. Once you get both of those codes, I give you a link with those codes. So once you have them both, click the link. You'll plug in the email confirmation code. Just copy and paste it in the right spot. Copy and paste the phone confirmation in the right spot, and you're good. Christina, my assistant, will be in tomorrow morning, and I should be able to take some time as well to let everybody into the Facebook group. I know you've been waiting patiently. I have been gone for the past 6 days. I had a death relatively close to me, and I needed to take some time off to grieve. So thanks for being patient. Sounds good, Brandon. I'll see you in tomorrow's class. That sounds good, Bobby. Perfect. Let me just make sure anybody on YouTube needs my help. Nobody on YouTube, everybody's good. Perfect. So for the holy wow, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of signups. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for trusting this. I know it's free, but treat this like you're paying for it. Seriously, treat it like you're paying for it. Treat it with the respect it deserves, because this is literally the difference between where you are and where you want to be. It just really depends on how seriously you take it. Just because it's free does not mean it's cheap. All right? Got y'all. And Brian, unfortunately, I don't do one-on-one classes for the simple reason being that one-on-one programs or one-on-one tutoring, it's expensive, and you only get 1 hour. With my program, it costs less than 1 hour of tutoring for an entire month. That's 24 hours of classes, all the recordings, and all my resources available 24/7 per month. So that's why I don't do one-on-one tutoring, because coming from where I come from, your money needs to go as far as it can go. One-on-one tutoring, especially with the majority of tutors out there, they will literally just sit there for the hour and then leave you behind. With the program, you're never going to be left behind. I'm always available for you to text me Monday through Friday. I'm here to help you out. The program's resources available 24/7. So everything is set up for you to be able to succeed no matter where you are or what time it is. And if you ever have any questions, like you're doing a math problem that you're particularly stuck on, shoot me a text. Shoot me a text with that problem. I'll help you solve it. No problem. That way you always have it right there in text, and it's not like some tutor just shows you and walks away and you got to remember everything. Yeah, Christina, because look, obviously I run a business, right? Obviously this is a business, but I wanted to make sure that we are running this business with the best of intentions, making sure that you guys are at the center of the decisions that we make. And to do that, we have to care about how your journey goes with us. Is it a journey that depends on this or that? No, we want it to be a journey that is dependent on you. Everything else we take care of. The materials, the process, the resources, everything's there. All you have to do is put in the time. That's it. Brian, you're welcome. And for the 5 other people that just signed up, again, make sure that you read the welcome message. All right, gang, read that welcome message and you are set. But at the end of the day, my party people, you guys are fantastic. I love this class, every bit of it. Please make sure to go ahead and shoot me a text right there as you are getting into the program and getting to know the things. Go ahead and let me know how things are going. All right. With that said, you guys have been absolutely amazing. I'll see you guys in tomorrow night's class with the problems that we talked about today. And one more time, I do again thank everybody for being patient with me. You guys are wonderful. Love you guys. Let's go and keep basing the ASVAB, and I'll see you in tomorrow's class. Cheers, guys. Love y'all. And see y'all on YouTube. Cheers.